Every night, at exactly 3:13 a.m., someone knocked on my bedroom wall. Not the door, not the window, the wall, and the worst part, there wasn't supposed to be anyone on the other side. This started about a month after I moved into my apartment. It wasn't a bad place. Small, cheap, a little old. But honestly, I liked it. It was quiet. Too quiet sometimes. The building only had 4 floors. Mine was the top one. And my apartment sat at the very end of the hallway. No neighbors on one side. Just the outside wall of the building. That detail matters later. At first, everything was normal. Work, home, sleep, repeat. Nothing weird. At least not yet. The first knock happened on a Tuesday night. I remember because I had work early the next morning. So I went to bed around midnight. I fell asleep pretty fast. Then suddenly, knock. My eyes opened immediately. I just laid there for a second. Confused, still half asleep. Then another one. Knock. Slow. Heavy. Like someone hitting the wall with their fist. I sat up in bed. The room was completely dark, except for the clock beside me, 3:13 a.m. I remember staring at those numbers, trying to wake up enough to understand what I heard. Then, another knock, right beside my bed, from the wall. Not outside, not above me, inside the wall. I didn't move, didn't even breathe for a second. I just listened, waiting for another sound. But nothing came. The apartment was completely still. No footsteps, no voices, nothing. After a minute, I convinced myself it was probably pipes. Old buildings make noise. That's normal. At least that's what I told myself. So eventually, I laid back down, and after a while, I fell asleep again. The next night, it happened again. Same sound, same wall, same time, 3:13 a.m. That's when I stopped thinking it was pipes, because pipes don't knock in patterns. And this was definitely a pattern. 3 knocks, pause, then 3 more. Like someone was trying to get my attention. So on the 3rd night, I decided to knock back. Honestly, I don't even know why. Maybe I was annoyed. Maybe I was tired of pretending it was normal. Or maybe I just wanted proof there was a real explanation. So the next night, I stayed awake. I turned off my TV, put my phone face down, and waited. The apartment felt different at night. Smaller somehow. Like the silence took up space. I kept checking the clock. 2:41, 2:56, 3:07. Then finally, 3:13. And right on cue, knock, knock, knock. 3 slow hits, exactly like before, coming from the wall beside my bed. This time, I didn't freeze. I leaned closer to the wall and listened carefully. Nothing, no movement, no breathing, no sound at all. Then slowly, I raised my hand and knocked back 3 times. The second I finished, the knocking stopped. Completely, like whoever was there was listening. I sat there for almost a minute, waiting for another sound. But nothing happened. Then suddenly, knock. I jumped immediately, because this one sounded different. Closer. Much closer, not inside the wall anymore. This one came from directly behind me, near the bedroom door. I turned around instantly. Nothing there, just darkness. I stared at the doorway for a long time, trying to adjust my eyes, trying to convince myself. I imagined it. Then I noticed something strange. My bedroom door was open, just slightly. Maybe 6 inches. I always sleep with it closed. Always. At first I thought maybe I forgot, but deep down, I knew I didn't. I grabbed my phone for the flashlight and pointed it toward the hallway. The apartment looked empty. Kitchen, living room, hallway. Nothing moved. But something felt wrong, like the apartment was waiting. I know that sounds stupid, but that's honestly the only way I can describe it. I checked the front door, still locked. Windows too. No sign anyone had come inside. So eventually, I went back to bed, but I didn't sleep. I just stared at that wall. Then around 4 a.m., I heard something moving inside the wall. Not pipes, not water, something crawling, slowly, right beside my bed. I couldn't move. I just sat there listening to it. The sound traveled upward, then stopped, right near my head. That's when I heard breathing. Very faint, almost impossible to hear, but definitely there, like someone pressing their face against the other side. I grabbed my blanket without even realizing it, like that would somehow help. Then, 3 knocks again. But this time, they came from inside the wall, not behind it, inside it. That was the moment I panicked. I got out of bed immediately, turned on every light in the apartment. Kitchen, bathroom, hallway, living room, everything. The sound stopped instantly. Of course they did. That's what made it worse. It felt intentional. I barely slept after that. And the next morning, I called the building manager. I tried to sound calm, tried not to sound insane. I asked if there were pipes running through that wall, or maybe vents, anything that could explain the noise. There was a long pause. Then he said something I still think about. There shouldn't be empty space there. I asked what he meant, and he explained that the wall beside my bed was solid concrete. No pipes, no vents, nothing inside it. According to him, there was physically no space for anything to move. That night I almost stayed at a hotel. I probably should have, but part of me still wanted an explanation. Something logical. So instead, I bought a cheap security camera. One of those motion detection cameras. Nothing fancy, just enough to record while I slept. I pointed it directly at the wall. Then I waited. At first, nothing happened. 11 p.m., 12 a.m., 1 a.m. I almost started feeling stupid, like maybe stress was messing with me. Then the clock changed. 3:13 a.m. Knock, knock, knock. Louder than ever before, and this time, the wall moved. Just slightly, but enough to see it, like something hit it from the inside. Then, the camera notification appeared on my phone. Motion detected, but the camera wasn't facing the room anymore. Somehow, it was pointing directly at my bed. I wasn't alone in the bed. At first, my brain refused to process what I was seeing, because the room looked normal. The lighting, the blanket, the camera angle, everything looked exactly the same, except for one thing. There was a shape beside me, laying perfectly still under the blanket, like someone had been there the entire time. I dropped the phone immediately, then looked at the bed in real life. Nothing there, just me, the blanket, the wall. But when I looked back at the phone, the shape was gone. I should have left right then. Seriously, that should have been enough, but instead, I replayed the footage, frame by frame, trying to understand what I saw. That's when I noticed something horrifying. The shape didn't appear suddenly. It crawled into the bed, slowly, from the side of the wall, not from the door, not from under the bed, from the wall. And the worst part, the camera never captured its face, every frame around its head, was distorted, like the footage itself couldn't process it. Then suddenly, knock, 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 right beside me again. This time the wall actually cracked. A thin line split across the paint. Then something pushed against it from underneath, like fingers. Human fingers. I ran. Didn't grab anything. Didn't turn off the lights. I just ran straight out of the apartment. I could still hear the knocking behind me, even after I locked the front door, even after I reached my car. 3 knocks. Pause. 3 more. I never went back there again. The landlord called me for weeks asking where I'd disappeared to. Eventually, he stopped. A month later, I got an email from him. 1 sentence.